Yes.
You got it.
Item 5, unfinished business, we have none. Item 6, new business, 6A. Sheriff Hallett to present jail inspection report. Undersheriff, you're up.
Yes. I don't have a report to present, but I think we'll give a verbal report. Because State Department of Health sent 2 inspectors to inspect the jail last week, and they were pleased with the progress that we made in there. They said it was 200% better than when it was here early this year. So the report went well. The only thing we're being written up for is the lack of a fire detection system, but we all know the installation is pending. So just want to give that verbal report on that.
And you got the email from Glenn Security, the status of the alarm system.
Donna picked up the letter this morning.
I haven't received an email yet, but
No, Donna picked up a copy of the letter. It was in
Okay.
your box.
all right.
It's in the hands of the fire marshal.
Okay. So
I guess I was kind of misled because I understood that it was kind of a holdup that had been down there for quite some time. But then I guess kind of over the weekend I learned that the fire marshal hasn't had it that long. I guess maybe the holdup as far as the security systems, maybe getting it to the fire marshal.
It sounded like it was a little bit between this Glenn Security and the firm that come up here and on the drawing part of it. They'd sent, there was some corrections that needed to be made. They'd sent them back to the,
Would you like the letter?
the architects, Keeler. They found errors in the new drawings. We were going to wait for revision, decided to make a correction ourselves and resubmit them to the fire marshal. And they're just waiting on that in order to proceed from the fire marshal, so.
I think where that read, he had the finals, or he's got them there now.
Yeah.
So it is in the fire marshal's hands now,
Yep.
but I don't think he's had them very long,
Yeah.
so.
It's the government. Hurry up and wait.
So the report was positive.
Yes.
So we'll just keep
Very good.
progressing as we go.
Very good. Good to hear. Item B, Resolution 19-198, Declaration of Surplus for District 2. We've got several items. Looks like John Deere 770D grader, 2006, which is broke down. 1991 International 10-wheeler dump truck. Load King belly dump, 76 model. 94 Chevy half-ton. Bushwhacker bush hog, busted gearbox. 5-speed gas air-powered compressor. John Deere backhoe. 410D. Oil storage building on skids. Hitachi chop saw. 2004 Ford flatbed. I think that's just the bed, is what she's talking about. And an overhead yellow apron. All built. They built it there. We don't use it anymore. Make a motion.
Songbird?
Yes.
Lawrence?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
Jerome Gannett, Chairman of the Nowata County 911 Trust Authority, updating the county commissioners on current status of the Trust Authority. Jerome?
I was off the grid for about 3 weeks. Had some medical issues.
I did not, we didn't have our meeting at the first of the month. It was canceled because of lack of quorum. Secondly, Coffeyville City Council approved our memorandum of agreement because it had to go through them. So they agreed, and so the memorandum of agreement is approved by both us and City of Coffeyville. So that's just kind of tabled until what the state says. Next, I'll have a meeting. The meeting that I was supposed to have last week with the 911 Management Authority was moved to this week, and so I'll be meeting with them in Tulsa on Thursday. And it's just a matter of what I've got to do is make the presentation for our deployment plan to them, and they're going to come back and probably say I need to make some corrections or adjustments or see what their thoughts are on the subject, because they haven't seen it and they don't know until they go through it, and I have to provide that documentation. And that's where we're at today. We have a 911 Trust Authority meeting on Thursday, so I'll have the agenda posted, and I believe everything ought to be up to par then, providing I don't have a relapse or get 6 foot under.
You're having a meeting this Thursday?
This Thursday. Got canceled. They had a meeting they want to do on Tuesday. I couldn't make that meeting. And so...
Oh, you're saying you're having a meeting?
I'm having 2 meetings on Thursday. One meeting with the 911 Management Authority. This is going to be with Daryl Maggart and Lance Terry. And then we're having a meeting in the afternoon with our board, 911 Trust Authority, here in this room. Okay? So if you can make it, that's fine. If not, you're covered.
We should be able to make it by it.
Our meeting is at 2 o'clock. That's at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning. That's about it. And we also, the other thing, I note that for some reason we lost, they never got our 911 registration for the county, and that was received. They received it, and everything's up to par. That happened last week.
Well, you was in the hospital.
When I got out, I did that.
Item J, Lori Summers review and discuss the estimate received from Goddard Enterprises for 7 new storm sirens for Nowata County, funding for which will be hazard mitigation grant funds available from 2019 FEMA disaster.
Right. So Goddard Enterprises is out of Norman, and they work with a lot of the emergency management folks throughout the state. The 2 estimates that I gave were for 7 sirens, which are 3 new and 4 upgrading, I think. Nope, 4 new, 3 upgrading. Sorry. The sirens that currently exist in Lenapaw, Delaware, and Juan are operational at the pole. That's not acceptable. It's not safe. So we're looking at upgrading those. The siren, he gave us a quote for 2 types. One of them was the best, which is solar-powered, voice-capable, which means that they can be used for all hazards. It's not just a siren. It can give out verbal instructions. You make them short and sweet, but it's not like talking on it or anything. But it's multi-directional. The high quote there is $223,000, I believe, and that's on 50-foot poles, which the power company can set poles for us as a, I want to say as a benefit or whatever. They will do that if they're 40-foot poles. So there's a lot in here that hasn't been set. It's just an initial jump-off point for us to know what we're looking at. There are 2 other companies that I've been told about, one in Kansas and one in Missouri. And I would imagine at this point my next step would be to get quotes from them. What I'm going to do, though, is I would like to be able to have this, they say it's about a 30-day turnaround once you actually get the approval and everything. As soon as the dollars are announced in the state, which they're supposed to have the, okay, let me back up. FEMA gives hazard mitigation funds to a state after a major disaster has been declared. And it's a percentage of the overall damages. So now all the counties have, like we did in October, have all their damages listed with FEMA that they're going to be able to claim. The percentage of that is then committed to the state to do hazard mitigation projects. Okay, these, I want to get our piece of the pie, basically. So I want to have something to go ahead and make an application to the state. What I found interesting is that once we make an application to the state, like we did for the hazard mitigation grant, we actually can withdraw it if we decide at a later date it isn't. I thought it was like once we made that application, we committed. But I would like to get our application in sooner than later so that we are being considered with these other projects. I understand Tulsa's putting in some $8 million grant request for new dikes or new, whatever they're called. I mean, so I want to get ours in there. So at this point, if you have any questions, once again, that I think one of them was $187,000 and one of them was $223,000. As a standard issue, they say that hazard mitigation grant funding is 75%, and we'd have to find funding for the other 25%. I am, at the advice of FEMA, going to be asking for 90% funding because we are so in need of this upgrade. So that will be part of my grant application when we do find that. But I wanted to just let you know what we're looking at as far as like top of the line, which in the future, you know, there are other hazards that are headed our way and could be very helpful. But we don't have to go top of the line, the next one down. But I do want solar backup on any sirens we get. We have that capability now. Most of them come with it. It's just a good idea in case of power failure that we can still have our warning system. So I don't know if you guys want to look at the map that I kind of have. It's rough. But we had looked at replacing one. Troy and I went out and looked at like for a high spot over near Noxie. We want to put one out at the District 3 barn to warn people out in that area because we have a lot of residents that aren't warned right now. And then New Adelaide's never had one. And there are actually quite a few people out that way. So depending on the height of the siren and the geography, those can warn from 1 mile to 3 miles circumference. So that encompasses a lot of folks in our county that have not previously received warnings. And once again, if we get the voice capable or multi-sounds, we can use them for warnings other than just tornadoes. So that's the newer capabilities that a lot of the metropolitan areas have. So like I said,
Where did you say the new ones? New Adelaide's District 3 barn?
New Adelaide's District 3 barn, Noxie, and I haven't verified it. I got the quote for 4 new ones and 3 replacement, but east of Coffeyville, on the other side of the school, there's a lot of residents out there, actually outside of Coffeyville. South Coffeyville, sorry. Yes, sorry. Outside the school district in that area there. So, and then, yeah. So I'm working on, I have the names of 2 other siren companies, which I'm not sure I have to have 3 bids when I go for the actual grant application, but it would be smart for me to get those so that I can agree on. So that's where I am on that. Any other
You're
questions?
requested 90%, what about the other 10%?
We're going to have to discuss that when we get, I'm hoping the other quotes actually come in lower, but I was looking to you guys to give me suggestions on how to cover that. I'm kind of new as far as county funding, so I'm hoping we can put our heads together and figure out where that can come from. We're required to warn. it is a requirement that we warn our citizens. So the next item, I will talk about the cheaper option for warning too. We can get partners involved, so we can ask for other grants. I know of at least a couple other private grants that I've been kind of keeping in the back of my mind that might be able to help us with that. So it's a combination usually of grant funding. We usually have to put pieces together for that process, so.
And even on a grant, since it's the county doing it, do we not have to go up for bid?
That's my concern.
I mean, I know you gotta get something to send in on your application, but if you're approved, would the county still not have to go out for bid on that?
I would think we would.
I would think we'd want to, whether we had to or not. Just as a,
Not that I wanna get too far ahead of the horse, but,
No.
or the cart, let's go ahead and pose that question to the district attorney or the assistant district attorney.
Okay.
That way, that question will already be answered. All right. Item K, Lori Summers, view current status of code red warning system information, quotes for piggybacking, Craig County system versus standalone system.
So I was unable to actually get a quote for us yet with the number of citizens that we have, which is somewhere around 10,500. But comparing to Craig County, who has said that we can just be added to their system for a couple years, they pay somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 annually to have their code red warning system. And if you'll remember, the code red was cell phone. You could also get it on your landline. It's a recorded message, and I think there's email capability as well if you want. But you sign up for it. It's a voluntary warning system, but it is activated by the person that's the administrator. So either way, if we had our own standalone system, or if we're piggybacking on Craig County's system and just I'm an authorized user, I could specify one city block or just the polygon where the storm is or whatever, and those warning messages would go out to cell phones and landlines. Kind of like the reverse 911 is basically what people think of when code red. If we are piggybacking off of Craig County, they have given us a quote of $2,600. So Craig County is about 3 times our size. I don't know what our quote would be. They didn't get back with me. But even if our quote was $5,000 as a standalone system, the $2,600 that Craig County would ask for is a savings. So that would be a one-time annual fee for having that capability. So that is our cheaper, more immediate. I mean, it really is, as soon as we have 911 addresses anyway, because it's all based on addressing. So whenever we got that in place, if we wanted to piggyback off of Craig County's, theirs is in place, it would be pretty much immediate for us just to pay that fee, and we could have warnings. So that's a cheaper, it's a more targeted option, because you know as well as I do that if a siren goes off, it's 3 miles in each direction, and nobody knows really where that is. But the beauty about Code Red, I really like Code Red, because you can specify what the actual threat is and give instructions. So if it's a chemical spill, shelter in place. If it's a tornado, shelter, get in your hidey hole or whatever. But it's very specific to the area where the warning needs to be. So it's a great tool. It's a cheaper option for us, but it's something to consider, and that's where I am with that. So I didn't do anything formal yet because we don't have our 911 addresses. It's all dependent upon having 911 addresses. We cannot have that option until we have 911 addresses in place. So that's where I am on that.
All right, appreciate it. Back to you, John.
Back to me. I'll make it short and sweet.